Kevin Durant talking about the Sixers being a possible landing spot.
Who are they going to trade for him?
Exactly, because they talk about, so everyone kept talking that it was going to be like Matisse,
Tobias
Niang,
Harris,
Tobias, and Tyrese Maxey, and like a pick or two for KD. But at that point, if like as the Sixers, you're trading away two of your contributing starters and 2 bench pieces plus your future, because Brooklyn already has the Sixers pick next year anyway from the James Harden trade. And so, okay, so say you add KD. So you got Harden, KD, and B. Great big 3, whatever. But the rest of the starting 5 and the bench, you're back to being absolute dog shit. So, like,
maybe
the
they'll
whole...
pull in Henry Sims.
That would not upgrade it from dog shit.
But honestly, too, after Philly dealt Simmons, they also gave up Andre Drummond. They gave up Seth Curry. They gave up a big part of their rotation, and that got them nowhere. They actually did a relatively good job at kind of like beefing up their lineup. They brought in, they tampered their way into PJ Tucker. They got DeAnthony Melton. They got Daniel House. So they added some quality depth pieces, and then in addition to that, Isaiah Joe, is he going to step up this season? Is a guy like Bassey going to step up? Paul Reed, so they have a pretty a much deeper lineup than they did last season.
Right.
So if I were them, giving up Kevin Durant, or giving up for Kevin Durant is just that'll set them back.
Exactly, and that's what. And on top of that, Kevin Durant has had some more injury issues because he's getting older, obviously. Now, don't get me wrong. Kevin Durant, easily, still one of the best scorers, best players in the whole league. But the concerns are the fact that he's getting older, his injury concerns from that major injury he had from Golden State moving forward, and now a concern of what if he comes over and then all of a sudden he's just like, sorry, I want to go somewhere else now. So then what? Then you're out all those people, you're out that depth, and then now you have a guy who's supposed to be 25 to 30% of your offense also not playing, and you're back to square one again, and you mortgaged your entire future. So cool, now we're back to square one of the process. You might as well hire Sam Hinkie again.
Yeah, Durant's just, as he's getting older, he's just wearing down a little bit more. He hasn't played an entire season since 2009, 2010. He played 55 last year, 35 the previous year, 78, 69. So the guy can't stay healthy. You're going to mortgage more of your depth for a guy who's not going to he's probably more than likely, if Bovada wants to throw odds out there, I want to see the odds of, can Kevin Durant stay healthy for an entire season? Because it's going to be no. So the Sixers should just stay where they're at, get back to Philly. The Sixers should just stay where they're at. However, they need to have a sit-down discussion with everybody on the team, well, at least members of the starting lineup. Joel Embiid's fine. He proved last season that he could stay healthy and then play through injuries. And not only did he play through injuries, he played relatively well through injuries. Mm-hmm. They got to talk to Maxey and be like, hey, man, we've passed up a lot of offers for you because we expect all these great things out of you. So you need to step up and be consistent. We need a consistent guy. James Harden, he's been working this offseason, but he needs to stop worrying about drawing fouls and start worrying about making his 3-point shots and start worrying about finishing at the rim. Tobias Harris, they need to have a discussion with him and say, hey, I know you're getting older. We're not expecting you to be what you used to be, but we need a little bit more than what we got. Because a big part of the reason why Philly's so locked right now is because they gave all that money to Tobias Harris, but he's not producing, and nobody wants him because the amount of money that they'd be better off trying to trade him to Utah and get Bogdanovich and a Mike Conley, just get rid of him and attach some draft picks to him. Just have Utah get rid. That's the direction they should go in.
Especially because the whole point of this offseason was to upgrade the supporting cast and the rotation. And obviously when it comes to the playoffs, everything usually shortens to like a 7-8 man rotation at most. So you're telling me, say you trade for Kevin Durant and everything, you're going to follow exactly what all these other super teams have done, where they just get 3 pretty good, right about almost past their prime superstars, surround them with a bunch of very average to below average talent, and be like, that's good enough to win a championship. It's obviously not. We've watched it. Brooklyn didn't get there. We've watched the Lakers, they got a championship with some crazy circumstances because they had 4 to 5 months for LeBron and AD to get healthy. Look what happened the next few years after that. They haven't done anything.
And then if you look at the Warriors, the reason why the Warriors were so good is because they were so deep.
Exactly.
Yeah, they did it. I mean, they're surely going to rely on Steph Curry, Klay Thompson, Draymond, but after a guy like Gary Payton went out, Otto Porter, played a little bit more. He got hurt a little bit. Belizia came in, Moses Moody, Kuminga. They have so much depth and so much talented depth, which is a significant. Everybody knew their role. In Brooklyn this season, nobody knew what was going on because they didn't play enough together.
When you trade for KD, the 2 other starters are probably going to be DeAnthony Melton and PJ Tucker. Now, Tucker, don't get me wrong, decent. But I don't know if I'm starting DeAnthony Melton and playing him 30 minutes a game. I mean, I love DeAnthony Melton, but I'd rather him be leading the bench. And then you go back to the bench. One of the biggest things this offseason was finding a point guard to run the bench. Now it's right back to Shake Milton, who couldn't run the bench before.